And DeMarco Morgan is there for us in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And DeMarco, just from what we see behind you, it looks just awful. What is it like to see there?
You know what, it's devastating, and just to also hear the stories behind the amount of people in this area who have lost their homes and their businesses. It is heartbreaking. Right now you're looking at a home that was belonged to an elderly couple. 43 years they had called this place house. This whole area, I don't know if you could make it out, but this was the dishwasher and washer. Here you see the stove, the kitchen area, pretty much gone. Everything is gone, and it's still smoking, which is still hard to believe because it rained last night. It rained twice yesterday, and you still have things out here that are still burning. If you look to this area to my right, you can see this was the living area. The front porch is on the other side. The fireplace is still the only thing that's standing. You can see chairs. You can see a little bit of what's left of the couch there. This file cabinet, which a lot of us always think, you know, it's sort of fire protected, fireproof here. Many of us purchase them to go in our homes to save files. You can see it is completely gutted out, and whatever was on the inside is now gone. And as we take a little step in here, this was pretty much their garage area. Again, this was an elderly couple that owned this home for 43 years, and this entire area, it's sort of like a compound because they also had family members who own homes just up this hill. One of the houses on the other end, Josh, was burned down and completely destroyed as well. So you're seeing stuff like this. Many homes in this area, when people get home, they're finding out that their places are leveled. Some have yet to get back and check out their places there at Gatlinburg. Many of those residents are still in shelters right now, and because of the area and because police are guarding it so heavily, they can't get back in just to see whether or not their properties survive. So a lot of prayers for the people who live in this area and call it home.
Certainly. You mentioned Gatlinburg. I know the mayor of that town lost both his home and his business. And, you know, DeMarco, in talking perhaps just to the couple who owns that home and those family members, had they ever seen anything like this there?
It is a shock. It is a complete shock. Many of the people that we spoke with, we didn't get a chance to talk to the couple because they were quickly rushed away. They're staying at a friend's house in an apartment about 1 mile or 2 miles from where we were standing. But talking to all of the people in this area, they are completely shocked because when you think of wildfires, of course, you get them throughout the country, but we always point to the West, our friends in the West who pretty much get them all the time. They know how to handle them. They have the expertise. This was a shock and a surprise to so many, especially the fire department as well. The fire departments, the many local and volunteering firefighters and surrounding counties, those firefighters were catching a lot of criticism because they were saying, okay, well, did they handle it right? Is there something that they could have done much better? But you got to keep in mind the other night there were hurricane-forced winds, 80 miles per hour. That's a lot. So, you know, 80 miles per hour in Los Angeles, outside of Los Angeles, or anywhere, and you have one wildfire, you got to expect it to spread quickly. And I got to tell you, when I was sitting in the hotel room getting ready to head in this direction, we were looking at some of the pictures that were just coming through social media, and you could see people literally like standing in their homes, in restaurants, and flames like just a couple of feet from their building. People had no choice but to get up and run. When I tell you the evacuation was crazy, people were driving down some of the streets and you had flames on both sides of the street. It was crazy. And I think it took a lot of people sort of off their guard because they never thought it would happen in this area. We all know the Great Smoky Mountain. It is one of the most visited national parks. We all have family history, family stories of when we were kids or when we brought our kids to this area. So it's a big blow to this community.
And as you mentioned, those hurricane-force winds, obviously weather played such a factor in stoking the flames. And you also mentioned the weather that perhaps has helped to fight them. How has the rain helped to control the fires, and what's the sense of containment moving forward?
Well, yesterday we had a number of active fires that were mostly controlled, so they weren't too big, but they were controlled, which was a good thing. So firefighters were counting on last night's thunderstorms and heavy rains to sort of help with the fire. It's been raining since 10 o'clock last night, off and on. This morning when we were out here for our live shot for CBS This Morning, it was pouring down, so you can only believe that that has possibly helped firefighters. The more rain, the more support they get. But if you just look behind me again, you can still see there are places like this that are still smoking. When you see smoke, of course, there's fire. Not long ago, we saw a little flame. Yesterday, it had little flames up. Can't see much, but it's still hot in areas. And even if you look across, you can't see it, but to my far right, you still have smoke that's starting to billow up. So it's still a lot of hot pockets out here, so people still need to be safe, still need to be careful. But firefighters, they're doing the best that they can. The one thing that I do love about this community is that you got so many like local departments and neighboring departments and neighboring counties. We were at a parking spot in a parking lot where one of the shelters is located, and some of the firefighters were just sitting there. Some were exhausted, but some were just sitting there waiting to be assigned. People are trying to help, and they're trying to get it under control.
People helping people in the midst of so much devastation. That is a measure of good news, to be sure. DeMarco Morgan there in Tennessee. We do thank you.